If you think that zero waste is too expensive for you, I'm gonna have you thinking again. We're gonna be talking about 25 ways that you can live zero waste totally for free in today's video. And this is part 12, meaning by the end of this video, there's going to be 300 ways to live zero waste totally for free in this whole series. Hello everyone, it's Emma and welcome back to my channel where we talk about all sorts of things zero waste, focusing on free, easy, and fun ways to live low waste. My favorite stuff to talk about. And like I said, this is my absolute favorite series. I started it in 2020. The series is almost 4 years old. Something to keep in mind as I disclaim with all these videos, this is gonna be the most random list you've probably ever heard of, because what happens is I see something out in the wild, I put it on in my notes app in my phone, and then I put it in this document and I don't sort them. So these are gonna be very random, but that makes it more fun, right? If you're new here, subscribe for more free ways to live zero waste. I love talking about zero waste on a budget and proving that zero waste can be easy, it can be fun, it can be for everyone. It doesn't have to be difficult or expensive. So let's get into it. First one is to only take what you need at fast food restaurants. I'm sure I've talked about before, take only what you need in general, but I see this a lot at fast food restaurants. People will just, dip their hand in there and get a ton of ketchup packets or Taco Bell packets or like a fat stack of napkins, and then what? Like, I get it. Maybe this is a bonus tip. If you take too much stuff at a fast food restaurant, reuse it. Take those ketchup packets home, keep them in your car to use the next time you go to a fast food restaurant, the napkins in your car to use as car tissues, whatever. But also just be mindful about what you're consuming in general, but at a fast food restaurant, particularly because a lot of this stuff is very, very small single-use packaging. So the more you use, the more single-use packaging that adds up, and that's very wasteful in the long run. Number 2, to bring your own flip-flops to a pedicure. This is so random, but when I was in Vegas, I was at the chiropractor once, and I was in the parking lot, and I'm like, what is that? Is that a flip-flop? No, I mean it was, but it was one of those foam disposable ones from like a mani-pedi shop. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize they used those. How wasteful for every single person. So bring your own flip-flops the next time you get your toes done, or just wear sandals in general if they go with your outfit. And that way you can prevent single-use flip-flops from being created. I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm not sure that's a sentence that has ever been uttered before. Next is to print double-sided, if possible. I just printed something the other day. I was making some signs for work. It could not be double-sided because they were signs. But if you're printing something like a resume for someone to read, an essay for someone to read over, an essay to turn in, print double-sided to reduce paper usage. And also, I guess just a bonus tip, I'm sure I've said this before, but check your printer settings, because say for example, you need it to be single-sided and you accidentally print double-sided, then you just wasted all of that paper, as well as ink. Always check your printer settings before printing. Next, change your address when you move. This was actually not inspired by my own move, even though we move all the time. This was inspired by the last tenants of the house that I rented in Las Vegas. We got their mail all the time. Sometimes it's just junk mail addressed to them. That's different. But what I'm talking about is like, we got their packages. We have no idea where they moved to, so it's not like we could forward it to them. So then those packages are like considered lost. That product has to be made twice. That product has to be shipped out twice. So this will save you a ton of time by not having to wait for your mail to be forwarded, or your mail gets lost and then you have to order it again or get your money back or whatever. It's also going to save a lot of energy. Say for example, I kept my Las Vegas address when I ordered something. It would be shipped to Las Vegas and then it would have to be shipped again to Washington. Like, it's not like I moved across the street or something. I moved across the country. It's just so much extra shipping that comes when you don't change your address. And that's something that I'm being mindful of right now because we're moving once again. The next time you're making pasta and you used store-bought sauce, and just get a jar, for example. This was probably a pasta jar at one point. You have your jar of pasta covered in red sauce still. Add a splash of water, like just a little splash so that you don't water it down. Shake it up. That way you get all the sauce. Well, you're also rinsing your jar, but now you get to actually eat that sauce instead of wasting it. You get to save money. Well, I guess. Get the most out of your money by eating all of the product. You're going to save water by not letting that water go to waste from rinsing your jar. You're saving time by rinsing your jar. Win-win all around. That goes for anything. Your pesto jars, your jam jars, your peanut butter jars. Now, not all of them you're going to like add water to. This summer, I was really into making mocktails. I would just add sparkling water to a jar of jam. It was in strawberry sparkling water. The moral of this one is to use every little last bit of your product before rinsing that jar and wasting that product. Have I never talked about this before? The next one is to make sure that your recycling is properly rinsed. How did we get to tip 281 before I actually mentioned that? So, recycling is very, very nuanced, and obviously it's not the same no matter where you live. Everywhere's recycling is different. Like, me in Airway Heights is different than actual Spokane proper. So chances are though, your recycling does need to be clean and dry as best as you can. So rinse it out, in the sink. Like I said with the pasta jar, if you use it, now you're doing less rinsing by using that pasta sauce in your pasta. But a lazy way to do this is to throw your stuff in the dishwashers. Obviously stuff that won't melt. Don't put like a salsa container in there. It'll probably melt. But stuff like this can of kombucha that I have, your pasta jar, your peanut butter jar, put it in the dishwasher so that way it's saving you time. It's probably also just saving water because dishwashers are very water efficient. And then you're recycling correctly. And the more that we recycle correctly, the better our recycling systems can become. This one is definitely a summer tip. So save this tip for summer, and it's my favorite summer tip, my favorite summer eco girl tip. Get a cone instead of a cup. I talked about this summer, and I got so many diet culture-y comments on it, and it made me so upset. It's 2023. Diet culture is dead. Ice cream cones are edible. Ice cream cups are not. So obviously there's so much less waste when you get a cone versus a cup. There's also no spoon. Your only little bit of waste is probably going to be a napkin or a small piece of paper, which is recyclable. Honestly, I don't think there's a single place that has recyclable ice cream cups unless it's 100% plastic. The paper ones are actually paper coated in plastic, so they're not recyclable everywhere. They're recyclable somewhere, but very rarely are they recycled. You can't recycle them with regular paper. As well as styrofoam. Styrofoam is probably everybody's least favorite material, and if you can avoid styrofoam, avoid it. I can't believe I skipped this one too until now. That is to feed your veggie scraps to your animals. Whether you have pigs, goats, chickens, cows, like barnyard animals, farm animals, they will probably eat everything. As well as that will save you money on their feed. But also, we feed a lot of our food scraps to Denahi. If we have floppy carrots, wrinkly peppers, bruised apples, obviously stuff that's not rotten and stuff that's edible for him, check with your vet or check a credible source. Of course, adding fruits and veggies to your dog's diet is also just healthy for them, helping them get, fiber and other nutrients and vitamins. So we love that. Denahi is 9 and he's absolutely an insane ball of energy. So honestly, I think it's like helping him in his old age because he's technically a senior now. But a particular food tip, like this time of year, pumpkins are like a dog's best friend. They're so good for their digestion. They're definitely healthy for them. And you probably have old pumpkins now that like Halloween, Thanksgiving time is over. So if you have an old pumpkin, puree it, turn it into dog food. It freezes very easily. It thaws very easily. You can turn it into dog treats. Keep that in mind. And of course, this is eco because it saves all this food from the landfill or even composting. Eating food is better than composting. Of course, composting is better than the landfill, but if we can eat it or our animals can eat it, that's better than composting. This is from one of my friends, Jennifer, on TikTok. This tip is genius. Remove stuff from your body before swimming. Remove your rings if you have a hair tie or watch, your glasses, obviously. This is not only free, but will save you money because like if you lose your glasses in the ocean, now you have to buy new glasses. But also, this is preventing litter. So always remove everything from your body before you go swimming. Keep your swimsuit on, maybe, if you're in the public. But everything else, take it off. Okay, I know some people are going to say this is gross, but as with everything you see on the internet, you do not have to do it. Nobody's forcing you to do anything. So this one is to reuse your floss. I know what you're thinking. That's disgusting. But guess what? When you have one piece of floss on your fingers, you're reusing it for all your teeth. Why not reuse it the next day? Do what you want, obviously. But what you can do is obviously wipe it off, rinse it off. You could even like wash it in mouthwash to give it a little extra clean. This can obviously save waste and save you money. When you're hiking, don't step on roots. I'm just laughing because these are literally all over the place. Stepping on roots can damage trees. It doesn't always. So like if you see an alive tree that has plenty of stepped roots on it, don't be like, Emma lied to me. But for me, I would rather be safe than sorry. Like, I would rather take precautions to save the tree than my steps hurt the tree. So, something I did learn in my book, which one was it? It was the, I'll put it up here, I forget it. One I read this year. How to Read a Tree, that's the name of it. You know like those big tree roots that sometimes are like steps on a trail? Those are actually generally safe to step on because those are support roots. So, unless you're like wearing micro spikes or ice skates, something that's going to harm those roots deep down, it's fine to step on those. Small roots you want to avoid stepping on because the small roots are what's giving nutrients to the tree. But regardless, try not to step on tree roots if you can. And also while we're at it, I don't think I talk about it, just don't step on plants in general. If you're on a trail, stick to the dirt, stick to the gravel, stick to the rocks. Don't step on plants because you will probably kill them. Ooh, this one's a really good one that I don't see talked about nearly enough. Clean off your shoes before and after a hike to avoid the spread of invasive species. Now, if you're going on a hike at Riverside State Park and then you go on a hike at Mount Spokane State Park, those are in the same general area, you're probably fine. But if you go on a hike at Riverside State Park and then you go to the Cascades or Olympic National Park, those are different enough regions that you might spread invasive species. I'm not sure which ones off the top of my head. Be safe instead of being sorry. Clean off your shoes to avoid the spread of invasive species before and after a hike. Especially if your shoes are like mine, they're kind of beat up and you have like little cracks and crevices in there. Seeds can hide in there, so always check those too. This is one of my favorite water conservation tips, also for other liquids. Don't ask for a refill if you're not going to drink it all. Or if the waiter comes around with a pitcher of water, say like, I only need a half glass. Because you know, you don't want them to fill the glass all the way to the tippy top and then you take like 2 or 3 drinks and now that water is wasted. Or that soda or tea or lemonade is wasted. So if you're not going to drink it all, don't ask for a refill. And if you want more water conservation tips, you can check out this video. If the wait staff gives you like a ton of paper napkins, take the ones that you don't use home because they can't reuse them. That's just like food industry standard. They can't reuse anything that's on the table. So this goes with straws too. Like make sure you ask for no straws because if they put straws on the table and you don't use the straws, because like I'm an environmentalist, they can't reuse those straws anyway. Use what they put on the table by either using it at your meal or taking it home to use later. Something I kind of learned the hard way is, here's my stove, if I'm cooking, don't season your stuff over the steam. Because guess what? Steam is water. Your spices and seasonings are a solid, dry ingredient, and those two don't mix well. So your cap will get clogged. The actual product will get like humidity and moisture in there and potentially cause it to go bad. It could also lose some flavor this way. So what you can do instead is put the amount you need in your hand, dump your hand over the pot. You could use, I've got like some little tiny bowls. You could use like a little bowl like this, put it inside your teaspoon, your tablespoon measurer, pour that over the pot to save your spices from going bad and also save your spice jars from getting dirty. OMG, this is a great tip from Allie's Garden on Instagram, and that is to actually remember to take your food stuff home with you at the end of your work or school day, especially if you use like the staff or school fridge. So common at my workplace in Vegas. So many people would leave stuff in the fridge. Obviously it would get gross and then it's not pleasant for anybody, but now that food has wasted, it also might be in a plastic container like this, which is easily reusable. In fact, we've reused this container for like 5 years. And now that container has to go to waste as well because now it's covered in mold, and what stranger is going to wash out a container? I wouldn't, even though I'm like a pretty hardcore environmentalist. I wouldn't even do that for a stranger. I wouldn't even do that to recycle it. It's going in the trash. So remember to take your food home from work. Instead of buying new, repair what you already have. Here's a quick video of some pants that I repaired recently. A button was missing, so I just put a button on them instead of throwing them away and buying a new pair of pants because the pants fit me so good. I should wear those pants. Where are they? But that goes for other stuff, not just clothes stuff. I can't think of any example. You know, washcloths. If your washcloths have holes in them, we had like a tear in our seat cushion, I would try to fix that or take it to a reupholster or something instead of trying to just buy a new one. So always think about repairing instead of buying new. And again, you don't have to repair it yourself. You can ask a friend, you can hire somebody to repair it for you. I saw those all the time in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is super windy, if you didn't know. I didn't expect that when I lived there. Make sure that your trash bags are not overflowing, but also make sure your trash bins are not overflowing, because if they are and the lid is like kind of only halfway on, the lid can easily blow off on a windy day. The trash can then fall over and then your trash will blow everywhere on a windy day. And then of course that's littering now. So make sure that your trash bags are actually tied shut, so that's one step to prevent stuff from blowing away. And 2, your lid is actually on all the way to prevent your trash can from falling over and blowing away as well. If you must throw away leaves and yard clippings, don't bag them. While they're still going to go to the landfill and they probably won't decompose very well in a landfill because landfills are typically like trash, a layer of plastic, trash, a layer of plastic. Sometimes it's a layer of dirt. It depends on the landfill. But regardless, don't bag organic waste, particularly large amounts like grass and leaves. I think you should just leave them in your yard to begin with, but we lived in an HOA in Vegas. I know some HOAs are very strict on this, which is if you can help it, don't cut them at all. Anyway, don't bag them either, because then that's just going to create essentially a methane time bomb. It's going to decompose in that bag, releasing methane, and methane is terrible for the environment, and you can learn more about methane in this video. When you have your windows down in your car, be mindful of anything that's like aerodynamic in your car. If you have any loose papers, any loose plastic bags, anything valuable, especially that can be taken away by the wind, be mindful of that to prevent litter from blowing out of your car. If you are a gamer like me, I'm currently playing Tears of the Kingdom. Buy the online like downloadable game instead of the physical game. If you're a game collector, fine, that's one thing. I'm not. So to prevent waste and shipping, I just bought the game online. Because now the game cartridge doesn't have to be made, the game like case doesn't have to be made, and it doesn't have to be shipped to me. If you pee standing up, use a urinal over a toilet. I learned this working at the park. That was an interesting sentence. What I mean is, I was cleaning the bathroom once and I saw that the urinal was like this many gallons per flush, and I'm like, that's so few. How much is the toilet? And I walked to the toilet and the toilet is this many gallons per flush. Significantly less. I don't remember off the top of my head, okay? So if you can help it, use the urinal to pee in. Please only pee in a urinal too. Take care of bathrooms. Respect public bathrooms. I don't know why that has to be said, but cleaning bathrooms this summer, it has to be said. Oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite soup hacks. So many things I've said in this video are so funny. My favorite soup hacks is, say for example, I cut up an onion and I store it in this bowl, and then now I need to quick rinse out that bowl. I don't need to like use soap on it, but I need to rinse it out to get kind of like the onion smell and juices out of there. I'll rinse that and then use that water in the soup because the water is flavored by the onions. It's saving water, saving money. Yeah, I guess a bonus tip, I think I've talked about this before, but like same for if you're making chili and you drain your beans into your chili, now you need to wash your can out before you recycle it correctly. Use that bean water for your water for the chili. So you're saving water and saving money. And recycling correctly. This is how I like to do my cans. I use the can opener on like 3/4 of it so it has a little attachment right here, and then I drain it like this to prevent my strainer from getting dirty, which saves water and money. And it's also easier to recycle because this small piece usually won't be accepted for recycling. It's too small, so I like to leave it attached so that the entire can be recycled. So a little bonus tip. And last but not least for today is don't release confetti. Don't release confetti outside. Yes, even paper confetti. And if you do, you have a gender reveal or whatever, I encourage you to find something else to announce the gender of your baby. I can't even justify saying that sentence. If you have to use confetti, please clean up, especially if you do it in a public place like a park, a city park, a state park. We have people release confetti by the river at the state park I work at right now. But yes, even paper confetti, though it will decompose way faster, it's still going to be a threat to wildlife the short time before it decomposes, so don't release confetti outside. Thank you so much for watching this video, especially if you made it all the way to the end. I really appreciate your time, and I hope that you enjoyed the other 11 videos in this series. I love this series so much. I would love to hear your free ways that you live zero waste down below so I can keep this series going. I have enough for a part 13, 14, 15 and a half. So I have at least 3 more in this series coming, but I want to keep this series going for infinity. As you can see from this series, these are literally the most random small things that I can think of that I'm like, hey, that saved, you know, a little bit of energy, that saved a little bit of water, that saved a little bit of physical waste. It counts. You don't have to go all out and drive an EV and go vegan and only shop at a bulk store and only take the train to be zero waste. You can do all these small free things and it adds up, especially the more of us that do them. So I encourage you to share this with others who think that zero waste living is hard and expensive and you have to change your lifestyle, because you don't. It can be easy, free, and fun. The whole point of my channel. So again, if you're new here, subscribe if you're into that sort of content where I'm making zero waste accessible for everyone. And again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of your views, your likes, your comments. I'll see you in next week's video. Next week we're talking about thrifting. I have never actually talked about why thrifting is better for the planet, so let's talk about that next week. I'll see you there, but until then, remember that your small actions make a big difference in the long run. Bye guys. I'm not sure why I hit record. Oh, I'm not even ready with my script. Stupid helicopter. Hopefully it's not too bad. I'm just gonna keep going. Hello everyone, it's Emma and welcome back to my channel. This should be one of my last videos with bad aircraft noise. Hopefully. Come on. And a truck. Hello everyone, it's Emma and welcome back. Where we talk about all sorts of things. Ugh! Denahi, no, you're okay.